But so anyway, I'm in the hole down there. They decide to flood. I'm like 20 years old. I'm down for whatever. I mean, we whatever. Okay, they said we're flooding. The fool Dahmer was my homie. He was flooding, so I'm flooding too. We're flooding. We're lighting stuff on fire. We're throwing it off the tier. So what the cops do is that night the cops turn on the air conditioner. Now it's in February. This is like February of 2003. I'm thinking, and we're like 9,000 feet in the air. Hi, Angelica. Angelica knows what I'm talking about. Remember whenever I went to join Angelica, like 2001, me and Flacco. So we get to the. So
What'd you say the elevation was?
we're about 9,000 feet in the air. It's in the Rocky Mountains. It's in the middle of the Rocky Mountains. Probably one of the highest cities in the Divide. You
Right.
know what I mean? Probably one of the highest cities up there. There's a city next to it actually called Salida. I don't even think Buny would be considered a city. Buny's like a couple. Buny's a couple stoplights, a restaurant, something like that.
Gotcha.
So I so anyway, I don't know what they did with Cali B in them. I have no idea. But that night they turn all the AC on and they open up all of the windows and they just leave us in there and there's like 3 inches of water on the ground. So they turn the AC on, open up all the windows, and leave us in there all night. The next morning, they come and get who they believe is the ringleaders or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they got me because I was lighting stuff on fire. I had some tobacco and some weed, and whenever everything's flooded, the cops ain't gonna come through. So we're smoking through the
Right.
bars. You know what I mean? Just passing through the bars. Cops ain't nowhere. You ain't coming. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So they were pissed at me for that because I wasn't a ringleader, I was a follower, but I think they were tripping on me for that. So they put us next door. They put There was a Sereno dude named Oso next to me, and then it was me, and then it was a cat named Indio Gluick from Bessemer Park, local Sereno. He was a Sereno too. I don't remember what hood Oso's from. I've known Oso forever. I should know what hood he's from, but Indio was from BPLS, and then it was me, and then there was another dude from West Side Chico in Pueblo, which is another Sereno hood, next to me, named Buzzard. Rest in peace. And then there was a white boy who stole motorcycles or something like that. But anyway, they take us all in there. They strip everybody down. You get your boxers. For the first 24 hours, you get your boxers. They take everything out of the cell. They turn the water off and they feed you what is called management loaf. Management loaf is where they just take a bunch of trash and put it in a blender and blend it up
Mm.
and just pour it like a meatloaf and cook it up in the oven, right? So it's nasty. You don't
Yeah.
want to eat it. You're not going to eat it. They're giving you like rotten oranges, stuff like that. Like finger food, you'll get a couple like you'll get some celeries, you'll get something like that, some celery, some carrots, but basically subsistence living. They come by and turn on the water every once in a while, let you actually flush your toilet, because you were flooding before, so now you lost your water privileges, right?
Yeah.
So after 24 hours, if you're good, they give you a blanket, right? But you don't get anything the first night. So the first night we're in there, they come in and they do it again. They open all the windows. Now all the water's been cleaned up, right? There's no mess anymore. And they moved us to the other side of the hole, the dungeon side of the hole. This side has cameras that look directly in to your cell, right? This is the bad part. Oh, and that's what I forgot to tell you. This prison is a child's reformatory. It was built in the 1870s, right? This is one of the oldest prisons, like west of the Mississippi. It's like
Yeah.
probably top five.
It would have to be built back then. So,
Hmm. It's at least goes back to 1870. There's a gang of Klan activity that goes on. Only place I ever seen an actual Klan card.
yeah.
The CO showed me. He goes, "Hey, homie, you ever seen one of these?" And he showed it to me, and they got holograms. Homie, it's like an ID.
Oh, I know a couple Klansmen.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They got
Yeah.
it's got like holograms and all kind. It looks like
Yeah.
a normal
Yeah.
ID. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, nah. I was like, nah, I ain't never seen one of them before. It's the only place I ever seen one of them. So they got us in a strip cell, right? The very first night, they open up the thing, they turn the AC on, and they're leaving us in there, and we're freezing bad. So the homie says, "What up, Wesley? I'm talking about strip cells tonight, my homie. Whenever you act up in the joint and they decide that they're gonna take everything from you." So we're down in the dungeon. They've taken everything. They open up the windows and turned on the AC. And somebody says they had turned on the water for us. He says if you run the hot water, it'll run through the sink into the toilet. And then if you take, because your feet were getting real cold, like our feet were turning blue, you know?
Yeah.
What up, Sean? I'm talking about we're having a discussion about strip cells whenever the police take everything you got, right? This is basically just me trying to. I didn't know tomorrow's going to be my premiere. This is me making sure that I'm not a complete novice the first time I actually go live. That I'm at least familiar with the software. But so they take what's called. So the homie says, well, take your blanket and kind of put your feet in the toilet and kind of put it over the top, right? And put your blanket kind of over the whole thing and run the hot water. If you sit there and run the hot water, he's like, it'll warm your feet up. And he was right. It was working. We're sitting there all night, and we all got the hot water because everybody's pumping the hot water. The pipe gets hot. You know what I mean? So we were kind of all helping each other out all night because you can't sleep. So we're sitting there all night, and Indio starts telling like old like Native American stories. I don't remember much about them. I remember one about a white buffalo that somebody wasn't supposed to look at or something like that. Like they were all dancing around the fire and they told him don't look at the white buffalo, and dude did anyway, and it's turned out bad for him. There was a moral behind it. I don't remember it. I remember his voice echoing though. I remember the acoustics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I bet it was really echoey there, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it's so quiet, you know?
Yeah.
So the dude also, the Sureño also had taken his boxers and wrapped them around his feet, right? To go to bed, right? He had the blanket around him, but he had his boxers around his feet. Well, early in the morning, the woman comes by to give him breakfast. This fool's right next to me. She pushes the cart through for breakfast. And that fool, or he jumps out of bed to get his breakfast with his weenie swinging, and she starts screaming, "Put your damn clothes on!" Da, 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 da. So right away, we're already in trouble, and now we're,
Yeah.
this is the
Yeah.
first night, dog. Less than 24 hours. This fool's showing his weenie to the cop, right? So, the white buffalo is Pandora's box. I'm going to tell you what it reminded me of. It reminded me of the story in the Bible whenever he said, "Don't turn around. If you turn around and look, I'm gonna turn your wife into salt," or something like that, into a pillar of salt. I don't know. Who
Yeah.
was it? Lot's wife.
Yeah, Lot's wife.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. So that's the very that's the very first night, right? Or the very first morning. So this fool jumps out weenie swinging. And then that day, we're basically just keeping each other company. After 24 hours, they brought us like some bedding or so. They brought us a mattress, right? So now you got you a little mattress and a blanket, and your boxers. And that's after 24 hours. So then the rest of that is kind of uneventful. But the next day, early in the morning, this is what they do to dissuade people from shaving in prison. I don't know what my dog is eating. What are you chewing on? Oh, it's his bunk. Okay. So to dissuade you from shaving in prison, they make it very inconvenient, is what they do. They'll make you wake up at like 5 a.m. You got to wake up at 5 a.m. and then you got to be done shaving by the time we get back with breakfast. But then these times fluctuate because you never know whenever we're going to serve breakfast, because the breakfast is on a rotation and this serve gets, and who keeps track of all that? Nobody's keeping track of all that. So basically you'll have to wake up at like 4:30 and stay up till 8. You know what I mean? If you want to shave or something dumb.
Yeah.
Who wants to do that in the hole? Right.
Right.
You don't want to do that. So at like 5 in the morning, I guess, dude gets a razor. Well, The woman comes back around 7 o'clock. She hits also cell. This is the second day. She hits also cell. She comes to my cell, gives me my food. She comes and I still remember how she smelled. She always smelled real good. Big blonde girl. She goes to Indio cell, and then as soon as she hits Buzzard's cell, you hear her scream. Wah! Buzzard had gotten a razor and killed himself. He had offed himself. Yeah. This is the second day into the strip cell, right? So this fool had offed it, but rest in peace, Buzzard. Somebody's going to know who I'm talking about he's from West Side Chico, because there's not a lot of West Side Sereno hoods out here. It's only one or two. From West Side Chico in Pueblo, he had a Jay Leno spot. He was like 20 years old and had a Jay Leno spot. He was a little skinny dude. It's cool as shit, man. Fool offed himself whenever we were down there, dog. So that's our first like 48 hours into this week-long process or 5-day process or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
I didn't see it going there already.
Yeah. This prison, dude. This prison, there's something wrong with it, dude. There was something wrong. There was something wrong with what they did to the kids in this prison.
Yeah, left that fucking bad energy behind. Excuse my language, man. Anyway.
You can feel it. When you're there, you could feel it. Like there really wasn't. What up, federal prison talk? I'm talking about strip cell, brother. What I went through in Buny whenever they decide that they're gonna take everything from you and just leave you with your boxers. And I'm talking about a real bad prison I was in. It was a dynamic where, like I said, we fought a lot, but nobody really killed anybody. It wasn't about killing people. As long as you were willing to fight, you were good. But people were just killing themselves in this place, and it was a child's reformatory in the 1870s. It's called Buena Vista, Colorado, and it was built in the 1870s. And it was used to house children, wayward children, children that were mentally disabled, special needs. You know, Down syndrome children tend to be really strong.
Oh, yeah.
And 100 years ago, their parents did not know what to do with them, so they would send them to Buny, you know?
Yeah.
I got you, Angelica. I got you. So this is the second day in. The homeboy kills himself, right? So the third day in also goes left, just loses it, right? He's talking crazy to the cops, just letting him have it. His behavior is starting to deteriorate even more. His homie just killed himself. Buzzard.
Right. I was going to say, I imagine that's going to, add to it. Fuck.
Then all these cops want to start coming down there. Now they want to do an investigation, right? So the whole next day is just an investigation. Now they want to investigate why this fool was down there for 2 hours, we're supposed to be on high security monitoring. We're on strip cell, right? Right? So you're supposed to be monitoring people, right? These people are the worst of the worst. You're treating them as the worst people in this prison, the most high security people in this prison. How did this man have 2 hours to bleed out in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Then Buzzard's dad shows up to the prison. What up, AC? So this fool's dad shows up to the prison livid. Now, we don't see him down there, but he makes such a stink in the prison that we end up hearing about it down in the hole. That's how much of it, you know what I mean? This dude's dad, Buzzard had less than a year. And he killed himself in this shit, 2 days into this shit, right?
Do you have some other shit going on behind this, or
no?
Don't even know.
No, couldn't tell you. I wasn't involved in his politics. I had just got to prison, been in prison like 5 months, and spent like
right, yeah, I got you.
From fighting, you know what I mean? My first year, or my first like 13 months, 8 months was spent in the hole. It was just fight after fight after fight after fight after fight. But so now we're like 3 days into it, and we just got these cops in and out. Now by this time, everybody's starving. Like, you're absolutely starving. You're just living off water out of the sink, basically, because the loaf is disgusting. It's like disgusting, and it's super dried out. They're bringing it down to us like that, super dried out, you know? And so now it's like 4 days into it. I don't remember much from the fourth day. I remember reading a book about Jewish mysteries, and then India was like, "You got any good books?" And then I was like, "Yeah, I got this one." And I sent it to him, and he was all pissed. He read it and then threw it down on the tier. He was like, "Get this out of here." I don't remember much else, you know what I mean? But they gave us the what you call. They gave us our stuff back. All our it gave us all of our stuff back on the fourth day. You got everything back, all your hygiene in the hole, and then as soon as I got out of the hole, I don't think Oso came out of the hole. He just kept spinning in there. He was like that. I knew him from juvenile and been like that, went through like 3 different prisons with him. And he didn't like authority.
Yeah.
You know,
one of those people, man, that some people just can't ever live with it.
Yeah. We ended up fighting later on, like maybe 7 or 8 years down the line. That's the last fight I got in prison. What up, VPS? We're talking about strip cells, homie.
What up, Rick?
Whenever the cops take everything. Yeah, we actually ended up getting in a fight later on. Me and that dude on some completely other stuff. They were trying to punk this Northsider. They were trying to punk this. That's pretty much it for the strip cell. If anybody's got any comments, I don't have my glasses on because look at it, makes it glare all crazy, and then you can't really see nothing. You know what I mean? And I don't like it. I feel like I'm hiding myself. So forgive me if I can't read all that well. What's up, Mike? Sean Whalen.
What's up, Sean?
But they hand out solitary confinement like it is going out of style.
Yeah, man. I just, from what you told me, just the building you were in, man, that right there's enough for me, man. Fuck.
This dude jumped off the 3rd tier on Thanksgiving Day, dog, and tried to kill him. You know what happens whenever you jump off something, but you don't, whenever you jump off something, but it doesn't kill you, you know what happens? I watched it happen. This is what happens. He hit the ground and bounced about 2-3 feet and then he began to roll back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And he had knocked the wind out of himself so bad that he couldn't get his breath. And he passed out. You turn purple and pass out. You know how whenever you knock your wind out?
Yeah.
Imagine the worst you've ever had the wind knocked out.
Right.
That's what happens. He's rolled around on the ground in front of us until he turned purple as purple could be. We thought he was going to explode or like his head was going to, you know what I mean? Because, you see the movies whenever people, they turn colors, you know, explode or something. It was like, oh, shit, is the eyes going to pop out or, you know what I mean? But he just turned purple and then passed out.
What else did it mess up on him?
He woke his memory. It obviously did something to his head because then I went in another fight. How to put the comments on his screen? Yeah, tell me how to put the comments on the screen.
I wish I could do it. I don't. I know how to do it if I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
Let's see. Invite, leave studio, share, sell, stop.
Oh, the comments should be on the right side of the screen, right?
Yeah, I can see them.
You just got to click on them.
Oh, just show them? It just show all of them or just show one?
No, you have to click on them like that, right? And then they'll show up.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, here, let's see, Federal Prison Talk. There we go. Aaron Gabra. Okay. What up, Sean? Who we got? Touch the comment. There we go. Coming through. Angelica, are you taking off? Angelica, if you just hit me up on Messenger and I'll send you my what's called. I'll send you my number. Sean Whalen, yes, sir. Let's see if we missed anybody else. I'm sorry if I missed you. Sean AC, I know AC was there. What up, Oyster?
What's up, AC, man? How you doing, brother?
Okay. No, Angelica's still here. Okay, and VPS rules. And Angelica's still hanging out. Okay, I know how to do it now. I'm sorry. This is why I did this one tonight, so that whenever I do mine tomorrow night, I'm not stupid.
No, I feel you, man. I should have done that myself. I just went straight for it. You know what I mean? Ended up having to back out 2 or 3 times and this and that. So yeah, but I got the hang of it now. So
yeah. So this dude jumps off the tier, right? There was a black dude whose heart exploded on the basketball court. I don't know what that was about. I don't know if that has anything to do with the, you know what I mean, with the prison or not. But it was just, you could feel it in the prison that it was what they had done is just wrong.
Yeah, yeah, man. There's places you can feel that negative shit come. You know what I mean? I've been in buildings before that I just didn't even like standing in. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so I definitely know what you're talking about.
You would,
But I couldn't imagine being down in a dungeon or one, in the belly of one of them motherfuckers like that. You know what I mean? Especially as cold as you said it was and shit.
yeah, they did that on purpose.
Yeah, man.
I
Uh,
They did that on purpose. I understand why they did it because
yeah,
it's a mechanism that you have.
right.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
a it, but I don't know. I don't know how much they're going to be able to keep getting away with stuff. I will tell you this though. I will tell you this. Um, the Democrats produced a bill or signed a bill today to beef up what's called to beef up policing across the country, and all the language that they're talking about. I know this stuff because I watched it happen because I was a political junkie whenever I was a little kid. I always been kind of a nerd. You know what I
right.
mean? I was
Yeah,
like,
I got you. No, I somewhat am. You know what I mean? I'm not like full blown into it, but I keep up with enough of it to, you
yeah.
know.
So I remember what Bill Clinton did. I remember the tough
Yeah,
on crime bills, the you know what I mean, the mandatory minimums and all this,
yeah.
all the same language. They talking about all the same type of stuff again because they're getting backlash because they defund the police. They were pushing this nonsense. So now they're trying to push the other
Oh
way.
yeah. It's just like what man. It's always it'll always be like it'll always flow back and forth, ebb and flow. You know, like that. You know what I mean? Uh, they're not gonna keep hollering defund the police that much longer. You know what I mean? And if they do, they have to do something to, like you said, some kind of backlash for that. You know what I mean? When sometimes it takes a few years for that to even come about or anybody even recognize it. That's the stuff with politics. Most people don't even recognize it when it's happening. They recognize it 4 or 5 years down the road after it's done
It
taking
takes a
effect.
while.
Yeah,
Government
exactly.
is a love it. Thank you, Angelica. Uh, Government is a slow moving object. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a slow moving creature because it's so massive and it takes a
Well,
while.
it's so bureaucratic and everything else. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a huge slow process, man. It takes, like I said, there's stuff that they signed years ago that I'm just now finding out about. You know what I mean? And I never, but I didn't keep up with it enough either. But just the general average person that doesn't know a whole lot about politics, man, or government, you know what I'm saying? They don't see any of that shit till it's done hit them, and there's nothing you can do about it. So,
You're
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
You're right. Now I have to if we're going to be honest though, right? So we have to take up the other side of the argument too, because there's individuals that can't be managed in ge- general population. You know
Right.
what I mean? There is people that cannot be managed in general population. So what do we do with these people, right? And okay, so Evan Ebel, who was the 211 cat who shot the director of prisons in Castle Rock, Colorado, like 2013. I made a video about it. He he came from a rich family. His family came from money, and his father happened to be friends with the governor of Colorado, Governor John Hickenlooper at the time. Okay, now Evan Ebel was kind of a he had some off tendencies whenever he was a child anyway. A little bit of violence to him. As soon as he went to prison, they threw him in solitary confinement. He assaulted a guard, they threw him in solitary confinement, and his behavior just spiraled.
Yeah.
Just he was out of his mind, right? So He did almost all of his time in solitary confinement. Whenever he is finally released, he assassinates the director of prisons and then goes on it takes off for Texas. Whenever the cops try to pull him over, he dusts the cop out the window, hits the cop 3 times out the window, out the driver's side window, or the passenger side window.
Yeah.
Once in the face and then 2 in the chest, and then drives off and then goes on a high spuzz and wrecks the car, jumps out, dumping on the cops, and they kill him, right? This was just a rich kid. This is a rich kid that was acting out. He went to prison. He acted out. What up, Bigfoot? He went to prison, right? As soon as he gets to prison, he assaults a cop because he's a bad child, and they throw him in solitary confinement for years, right? And
Yeah.
so during this time, his father is not petitioning because you can't, because it's illegal, right? But his father is in constant communication with the governor about the effects of solitary confinement and what this is doing. Now, he says that he never mentioned his child. The governor officially says, we had conversations about people in solitary confinement and the effects that they have. Am I going to believe that you called the governor to talk about this situation, but you never mentioned your child who is in solitary confinement? I don't believe that.
Right.
Yeah. So they know, basically, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing to these people. I was in another place. I was in 2 places with a man named Brown, a black person. I couldn't even tell you his first name, but I ended up next to him twice in solitary confinement. Once in CSP, and then one time I MRD, which means mandatory release date, kill your sentence, from the penitentiary, from solitary confinement. I got out, and I was out for less than a year. So whenever you do that, you automatically rubber stamp, you go right back into solitary confinement. They don't even have to worry about you. Well, I only made it 8 months. I didn't make it the full 12 months. Angelica remembers this. Remember whenever I was running around with Brandy, whenever I was with Brandy, I didn't make it for the full year. So whenever I went back, I went right back into that girl that I pulled out of the window. That's whenever I pulled that girl out of that video I made, how to pull a girl on parole.
Yeah.
That's what that's about. That's during that time.
Okay.
I was running around with her for a while and doing our thing with Angelica too. Me, her, and Angelica were all running around together. She remembers that apartment over on Cherokee and Archer.
Word.
But let's see, gangish. We still have a balance on prison time, e.g., a life sentence for nonviolent crimes because of 3 strikes. For fuck's sake, mate. No chance of getting out, and the police don't have to look like. I don't know what the police don't have to look like, but I will address some of the things that you said there. 3 strikes and you're out is something that is rarely used I can only speak out here in Colorado, and it's mostly used as a deterrent to go to trial. What they do out here is they give you what is called the little habitual or the big habitual. The little habitual out here means that you have 3 crimes of the same sort, so they'll give you a habitual burglar offender or habitual drug offender, or they also have an HCO, just habitual criminal offender. But it's a lot harder to push that one. And the statute upon which this idea rests is that the state has to prove that you are basically incorrigible, that you are not rehabilitatable, so they can extend your sentence. The little bitch gives you 3 times your maximum range, 3 times the minimum, 3 times the maximum. So on, say, roughly a class 4 felony, it's a minimum of 2, it's a maximum of 6. If they give you the little bitch, you've now gone from 2 to 6 to 6 to 18. You can get a minimum now of 6. You see what I mean? This is what a habitual statute does. So the 3 strikes and you're out, there was examples of this in certain states that were ridiculous. I remember specifically a dude getting life sentence for stealing an ice cream. That was in California.
That's kind of what did my cousin in, man. But here's the deal with him. He had gotten away and committed so many crimes. And some of them were bad, but he had just got he's one of those people that had got he wasn't a snitch, he wasn't this or that. He had just gotten by the skin of his teeth his whole life. And finally, the last 4 years of his life, he had stole a case of beer, right? And all those probations and all that stuff finally come back on him, right? And he spent the last 4 years of his life locked up and just over a case of beer. And he had and the crimes that he had done, I'm I'm going to make some videos on him, right? But he should have been locked up most of his life, but it was that case of beer that got him. You know what I mean? So yeah. So dude got he got it for ice cream.
Yeah, there was a dude who got locked up for ice cream. There's this horrible case of a woman who actually got a life sentence in the Washington, D.C., so the federal system. This
Yeah.
woman got a life sentence on her first offense, and it was like a drug case. Now, there was numerous circumstances that tied into the fact, you know what I mean, that why she got this life sentence. It
Yeah.
wasn't just she got caught with a bag of dope. It was very and if I remember right, if anybody's seen this movie, the movie The Silence of the Lambs, I believe, or is it Hannibal? The one where the woman jumps out, the opening scene, the black woman jumps out with the dreads and the Uzi. She's got an Uzi and a baby right here. On
Yeah.
she's
I
got a
think
baby
that's
carriage.
Hannibal.
Is it Hannibal? It's
I think so. Yeah.
Hannibal. Yeah, it's one of the series. I can't remember. I've
Yeah.
read them all so many times. I've read the whole series a bunch of times. But the woman that got the life sentence is actually based. No, the woman that has her Uzi and her baby right there is actually based on the woman who got the life sentence. So it's much more complicated than
Right.
if she got caught with a bag of dope. It wasn't. They were some serious gangsters. Put it that way.
Yeah.
These were serious gangsters, and they made a serious case to get this woman off the street, and they did. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, the habitual law was already there. Now out here they can also give you what they call the big bitch, which will give you a 4 times range. They give you the max you out 4 times. And then what they do is if there's any if you're on probation or parole in the first place, well, we're just gonna call that what you call we'll call that an aggravation. So now let's say you were just facing 2 to 6, right? You had like lying to a pawnbroker, lying to a pawnbroker. That's a 2 to 6, right? Out here, something like that. Well, now because you were on probation or you were on bond or something like that, we'll double it. So now it becomes a 4 to 12. And now you got a bunch of felonies in the past. So we're going to quadruple that 12 and hit you with a 48, with a max out 48. And the stipulation says that whenever a person is hit with a habitual, whenever they are found guilty at trial in Colorado of the habitual criminal offender, they are to be given the top range, right? So now you just got yourself a 40-year sentence for lying to a pawnbroker.
Damn.
Right? Or they say just cop out, or you just going to take this 4-piece.
Now, is this still in effect? This law?
The habitual laws are still in effect in Colorado. The county that I live in is the county that I live in was one of the worst. The woman got in trouble for doing it. Carol Chambers was her name, and she was one of the ones that whenever it was fashionable is I actually live in a kind of a Republican part of Denver as far as the city is concerned. I live in the same city that the Broncos training camp is in, right?
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty nice out here. Not in my neighborhood. I live kind of in the downtown part of it in Inglewood. It's Inglewood, Colorado. I live kind of in the downtown part of it, but out in the suburbs by the jail and stuff, it's actually really nice. But I forget why I was even talking about that.
My bad.
Habitual.
Yeah.
Carol Chambers. She ended up getting in trouble because she had just handed out too much time. Something like 60% of all the habitual sentences in Colorado were coming out of this county,
Mm.
right? And that was happening for like 5 or 6 years, and they decided, we're not going to do that. Okay, now AC, what I don't know much about the California three strikes and you're outlaw. What do you know about it, brother? Tell us something. Does anybody know? What do you guys got out there? You guys got a habitual law, Weavy?
No, not in West Virginia. We don't, but in Virginia now, 30 minutes down the road, uh, I'm pretty sure they do, or they did anyway. I know they did. You know what I mean? I had a cousin that he died from a methadone and Xanax overdose. Well, my other cousin's brother, the one I was talking about, he was getting ready to go to prison for I don't know, man, but he hadn't. It wasn't done, but it wasn't. He hadn't done much, man. It was just he. It was three strikes, pretty much. You know what I mean? And but it's a Commonwealth state too.
It is.
Yeah, I've noticed. There's a lot of difference when you commit a crime in a Commonwealth state.
You think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, from just by my doings, and you know what I mean. I mean, the judges are just. It seems like they have to be harsher there. It's what it seems to me. You know what I mean? Because I've committed crimes between here and Florida, and Virginia's always been the worst, and that's the one I know is a Commonwealth state. Now I don't know. Florida might be. I don't know.
So Sean says stats clearly show that just locking people up with no clear effort of rehabilitation just does not work, and it's not just been easy on crime. Well, the problem with that is that no clear effort of rehabilitation. I don't really know what that means. There's plenty of programs in prison. Um, I was a knucklehead. That's why I ended up strip sale. Um, I don't think it was a good thing what they did, uh, and it was certainly excessive. And I think they could probably find something better to do than put people in. Like I said, in the prison I was in, it was like just a bunch of a bunch of gangbangers. You know what I mean? It was like they were setting me up for failure, and then they put you in the hole. What they put me in solitary confinement when you fight. That's what we do here. You know what I mean? That's what goes on here. That's what everybody does. We fight, and then
Right.
now I'm in the hole. So let's see what Mark says. Illinois has a habitual. When I do my time, they were just getting ready to release King Gino for a body. They hit him with a life sentence for selling cocaine. They hit him as he was going out the door. I've seen them do that to big timers. If you're a big timer, they'll wait till right whenever you're about to get out and then strike you. I've seen them do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in a holding cell with the guy at the courthouse here, which this wasn't no big deal. But he had just done 25 years on a heroin case, right? Basically, he was being in the federal pen. Well, as soon as he walked out the door, they had come back on him with something to do with a bad check from way back when, right? He walked out the door and had to go straight to county jail from the federal prison. He didn't even know they was out there waiting on him. His family was out there waiting to pick him up, and so was the sheriff's department. I was like, see, so, and I was in there waiting to go to court, right? And I was like, so you've been over there for 25 years, and you just walked out of there an hour ago, and you're already in here. And he's like, yeah, over some kind of check that I have no idea about. So
That's got to be a terrible feeling.
yeah, but I figured he said he come from money, and you could tell he kind of did. And I figured they had that taken care of pretty quick. I didn't figure he had to do much more time, but yeah, getting hit with something big after getting hit with something big, coming out on something big, yeah, that would really suck.
AC says, just like all these gang enhancements are not needed, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, AC. I've been harassed by the gang unit. I've never had them try to push a gang enhancement on me. I've always just kind of been a hustler, money guy, and thief. I just always got a scheme. I'm like a scammer. I'll fight if I have to. You know what I mean? If you're going to make me, I'll defend myself. And I was from the hood. I got put on the hood. I mean, I am from my hood, but I was never the one looking for a fight. I'd rather talk to you if I could. And so I never ended up with any like violent gang crimes or anything. I actually don't have any violent crimes, if we're going to be honest. I've got hit with a bunch of violence in prison, and that's because in prison I can't get away from you. I can't walk away and just leave you.
Right.
I mean, out here, I'll do anything to avoid a fight on the streets. Even whenever I was young, I wouldn't run around looking for a fight. You know what I mean? But in prison, if you make me nervous, I just attack you, and then I just go to the fucking hole. You know what I mean? And after you do that a couple times, then people are like, oh, okay, maybe we shouldn't make him nervous. You know, because even if you whoop me, I got whooped a bunch. I spent my first 4 or 5 years in prison getting whooped. But if you know somebody will attack you or off the rip, just attack you out of nowhere, you'll think twice about making them nervous. You know what I mean? You're gonna give you'll give them your respect, whether you can whoop them or not. You know what I mean? Because nobody wants to get you know? So, yeah, you don't got to be the baddest. You just got to be willing to attack them on.
Right.
The hypocrisy of the system makes me sick. I guess the only government is allowed to make money off dope. There's a good point there. That's true. The government, they don't want you doing nothing unless they get their money. That's a true statement. I give you that. I got you.
Coca-Cola still uses cocaine leaves, gets what they need out of them, and passes it on to the pharmaceutical companies. Coca-Cola, they still use the coca leaves.
Really?
That's the only company that's allowed to. That's the only people in the United States that's allowed to buy coca leaves and bring them here.
Like and then grandfathered in or something? Like
basically. Yeah, you can look it up and read about it, but then they sell the rest of it to pharmaceutical companies to make like lidocaine and shit like that. So
I believe that because I know they're all the same derivative. They are all a cocaine derivative.
Yeah.
Let's see. How are you, mate? Let's see. Doing good. Respect all around. Well, I got to get a woman that's on parole. You got to yank her out the window. You got to find a damsel in distress, homie.
Yeah, definitely.
Parole damsels be in distress too sometimes, you know.
That was a good video, man.
I was just walking past it that day too. I was walking past it and I was like, oh man, I remember this. I remember this place. Or I was driving past it and I told the homie, I said, get out, we're gonna take a video right here.
Yeah. Yeah, that was dope, man. I like the one about the damn car you did today, the Tahoe.
They won't take it.
I can't believe that, man. Nothing like that would happen here. Hell, somebody else would have done hooked a chain up to it here and drug it out in the woods and stripped it apart.
They keep getting in it. I every time I go back, you can tell that somebody's been in it, and that's the homie was like, "There's some foil in there."
I heard that.
Yeah, they're getting in there smoking is what they're doing. And well, the initial video I made whenever I went down there, the homie was like, he was like, well, this is a stolen car down here. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we go down there and check it out, and the front of it's all caved in, all crazy. And I was like, how'd they drive this here? And he was like, nah, some fool was turning the corner right here, and he got shot in the neck, and he got shot in the neck and crashed into the G-Ride, right? And he said the cops showed up, take the whole place off, took the dude to the hospital. He's like, I don't know if dude died or what happened, but they took him to the hospital, got him out of there, and then towed the car that he was driving and took all the crime scene and just left the G-Ride.
Hey, what was the homeboy doing with the jack?
I don't know if he was lying or what he was doing, but he was like, this is my jack. I was like, okay.
Right. I see. That was funny as hell, man. I was like, he done been spotting that jack out for a day or so, and he's like, nah, these motherfuckers ain't taking my jack. Yeah. But hey man, look, like I said, I'm a little under the weather, man. I'm gonna jump off of here, bro. I just want to see if I could help you out a little bit. If you want, you can put the invite down on the screen, man, and somebody else can jump on here too if they want to.
Anybody want to jump on with me? I'm just on here messing around, honestly.
Right.
I wanted to do a pilot test before tomorrow because I just really didn't want tomorrow to be my first night. But I'm good, brother. I'm good. Thank everybody. Okay. Thank you guys for joining me. Please join me tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're going to talk about fentanyl. I got a bunch of information. I did a bunch of I got a bunch of information. I got a bunch of facts about different states and the stuff that's being seized. Let me get through some of these comments and show people that dope Gina was supposedly selling in Iran. Contra or government let drug dealers bring it in for a price. You know, Mark, that is most likely true. But I don't know that we can forever say that it's all Ronald Reagan's fault or it's all, you know what I mean? I don't think you could say that in perpetuity. But if I was going to blame anybody for for the problems, the most of the problems that we're having now, I would blame the Chinese. Honestly, they're the ones manufacturing it.
Yeah, that's where the fentanyl is coming from, man.
They manufacture it by the ton.
Yeah.
And if you get caught selling it in China, it's a death sentence. So they're not making it for themselves.
No.
Right?
No, they know what they're doing, you know.
You know? They do. Take it easy. We'll support all the new channels. Can't wait till y'all blow up. Thank you, AC.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
You guys are awesome. I'm gonna call it a night. I hope to see y'all tomorrow at 6 p.m.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and man, y'all go check out my channel, Doing Time with Big Weavy. Subscribe if you want to. If you don't, you know, whatever. But anyway, go check it out. I'm a little under the weather right now, so I haven't made any content in a couple of days, but I'm going to here shortly. I just wanted to help my boy out here for a few minutes. Okay. So,
thank you, everybody. Angelica, hit me up on Messenger.
See you, everybody.
Bye.